Move!
Michonne!
Go!
Michonne, now!
Get that gate open! Hurry! Stop her! We can't hold it! Don't let them get in!
Come on! Can't queue any harder.
Zachary!
Leave her alone! She didn't... Zach! What the...
We gotta hold the door with something. I thought you weren't gonna make it for a minute.
They stopped firing.
They're surrounding the house. We have to get out of here. Where are the boys? Upstairs. Alex! James! Hurry up!
Get down!
Down! Down!
Where are you? Where are you?
Girls!
Help us!
Is everyone outside the house already, though? That's the question.
Out of here. It's not safe. I should have been there with you, but I wasn't. I wasn't, and you. Every day I wish I could go back and change it. But I can't.
Michonne, it's Dominic.
What's
Where the hell are
happening?
you? Go pack your things, okay? We have to go.
Where's Mommy?
We tried to wait. We're heading to Donna's.
Dad!
She'll be fine. Come on.
No, she'll come look for us. We have to be here.
Michonne, if you're still... Just stay safe, okay? They need you.
I'm so sorry. I don't know what else to say. I'm sorry. You can't.
Nobody! Sam? Help!
I'm here.
Michonne! We're stuck in the closet! Levi, take it out. Please. Oh, Levi.
Michonne! Have you seen Sam? I thought you were dead. Oh, I was so worried.
Sam, we have to go.
Yeah, you're right. Come on. We can get out through Craig's room. Follow me. Stay right with me, okay?
Go!
Michonne! Hurry! James!
Don't go.
I have to go.
Why?
I work.
Say goodbye, girls. Your mother has to leave.
Please, Mama. Stay here with us.
She can't.
Just let her go.
Dominic, please. Just let me say goodbye.
Come on, Alex! What are you doing?
No.
Girls, enough. Let her leave if that's what she wants.
Michonne!
No. Don't go.
Colette. She can't stay.
We can't stay here!
I wish you could come with me.
Michonne! I'm not leaving you here!
Goodbye. I'm so sorry.
Give me your hand. I got you.
Sadiq's gonna take a boat down to what's left of Monroe. Salvage what we can. We can drop you off in Oceanside or maybe one of the other communities up north. It's good people.
Thanks. And thank you for everything. I don't know if we would have made it out of there without you. You found my brothers. You took care of Norma.
Promise me you'll learn from this. Remember what happened here.
I will.
It'll be harder out there without Berto. Might lean on you a bit more. It's not gonna be the same without him.
Are you gonna be okay, Pete?
Yeah. Don't worry about me. Yeah, I guess that's a bit hypocritical of me, huh? I wanted to ask. When we got separated, I heard you calling for your daughters. What happened in there? I tried to find you, but I couldn't. I had to get everyone out and...
I wasn't thinking clearly. All the smoke. I saw things that couldn't be real.
It's happening more often now. The hallucinations, hearing things. Maybe you'd better start thinking about, you know, what if this doesn't go away?
Maybe it won't. But this time, when I saw them, I was able to walk away. Couldn't keep living in that moment with them anymore.
think it's time to stop running. Go back to your group, the people you left, your family, before you can't anymore. If I know anything, it's how goddamn impermanent things are these days.
You're right. It's time to go back.
Come on.
Ah, my little one, this is how it's done. You play your part, and I'll play mine. Ah, my little one, this is how it's done. You play your part, and I'll play mine. But your love drags me down, like the clothes when you swim. Down, deeper down, like the roots of old trees.
Okay, so our choices then. Pretty much everyone helped Sam bury their father, because we're not massive arseholes. 35.9% of people told Alex what happened to his dad. Or specifically, we told him a bad man hurt his dad rather than someone shot him in the head. We weren't quite that blunt, but we told him the truth. So I think that was a free option choice there. Handing Randall over to Norma, 62% of us said fuck no. That went reasonably well. I was expecting more people to die out of that, to be honest. But as I said previously, this whole plot line with Michonne off on her own, it happens at some future point in the comics to where the TV shows are at the moment. So I think Pete has plot armor because Pete goes back to the group with Michonne, and I think one of the other guys does as well. Because I think she brings a couple of people back. But I was expecting a lot of other people to die, and that kid didn't need to use that gun in the end, which was quite surprising. So I wonder what happened if we didn't give him the gun. Maybe it was just a choice that had no consequence. Putting Norma out of her misery, 59.1% of people wanted her to get eaten. A surprising amount of people did put her out of her misery. That's quite surprising. And at the very end, 93% of people chose to leave the daughters and get out of the house. I don't know the consequences of staying. If you stayed, maybe the floor gave way and Sam would have fell through and burnt to a crisp, and that would have been the consequences of your stupid actions. But yeah, that's that then. I don't know if they're going to do any more Michonne specific stuff, especially since this seems to be a one-off to fill in a blank in the comics. But yeah, it was interesting enough. Personally, I'm a fan more of the seasons of the Walking Dead Telltale game, just because there's a bit more complexity and depth to it, and anything can happen. Whereas in this Michonne one, we kind of knew that certain characters had a bit of plot armor, so they were, guaranteed to survive and that. But no, it's still a pretty decent 3-episode series. But next time we get back to The Walking Dead, hopefully it'll be for season 3 of the game, because I've been itching to find out what happened after that rather emotional finale that my playthrough had after season 2. So for now then, see you guys later.
Taking someone's life, it changes you forever. You need to learn the difference between who's innocent and who's guilty.
When Michonne was introduced in issue 19 of the comic, it seems silly now, we'd been going for 19 issues, and I wanted to show just how much the world had changed and just how crazy this apocalyptic world was. And so, you know, I wanted to introduce a character that had kind of life hacked the apocalypse to the point where they knew that if they removed the jaws and arms off of a zombie, that they could become fairly docile because they couldn't attack. And it was supposed to be kind of a startling, crazy image to show, like, you know, oh my gosh, 19 issues in and things are really getting nuts. Like, we're really getting into like how different this world is. Michonne as a character is probably a lot more capable and a lot more attuned to this world than Lee or Clem have been, even towards the end of their games, just because, you know, she's lived in this world so long. And so what that means is there's a bigger action element, I think, in the Michonne game than there were in the other two. There's a tremendous amount of backstory and character baggage that comes with Michonne, just because she's existed in over 100 issues of the comic book series at a point when she arrives in this game. And so the player is so much more familiar with her and knows her so much more than they know Lee and Clem when they start those games. Those games are about getting to know those characters. This game is about learning so much more about Michonne. Michonne had this very complicated life. She was this hotshot lawyer who was very career-driven. She had these two kids with the husband of hers that ended up getting divorced, and it's a fairly unique situation where the husband actually got full custody of the kids so that she could focus on her career. And that's something that I think she knew that she would do at the time and was justifying it because, you know, her career was very important to her. But I think as a mother, it was something that always kind of grated at her a little bit. You know, she felt like she shouldn't have done that. You know, the zombie apocalypse happens. Her kids are actually with her ex-husband and they're scattered to the wind. She has no idea what happened to them. She knows that, you know, she chose her career over her children. And so that's something that's, you know, going to haunt her to the end of days. We had this huge storyline in the comic books called All Out War, where basically Rick had united the Kingdom and the Hilltop and Alexandria against Negan and his saviors. As I was going through my notes, looking at, you know, where the book was going after the end of this war, the main thrust of the story was proving that Rick Grimes was right. In order for Rick Grimes to be right, in order for this war to be necessary, there had to be a long period of relative peace. When I looked at it all as a whole, I was like, okay, I've got like maybe a couple of interesting stories, Michonne being one of them, but for the most part, by design, this is going to be a very boring 2 years worth of story in The Walking Dead. And I thought, you know, that's probably not the best follow-up to All Out War. And so what I decided to do was this massive time jump. Michonne was gone. You come back and you don't know if she's dead, you don't know if she's alive, you don't know where she is. Mainly because her story was actually fairly interesting. After this war had taken place, everybody seemed to be happy and she was happy and everything was great. It just didn't sit right with her, and so she had to make a big change. She had to kind of put more of a burden on herself because she felt like she was living a life she didn't deserve. And so that's why she kind of set out on this journey that we kind of see the tail end of in the comic book series. 95% of that journey that she goes on is not seen. That's why I thought this Telltale game would be a great opportunity to actually show that stuff. I think Michonne is such a strong character and there's so much going on with her emotionally. I think that that's something that the Telltale Games handle really well, is emotion. Michonne had done a lot of really interesting things that I was using as backstory in the comic, but actually did have the potential to be story, as I like to say. And Telltale, you know, having done such an amazing job with all of the other Walking Dead video games, I just thought it would be a really great opportunity to do a chapter in the Telltale saga that focused on one of the characters in the comic book and also kind of told the story of a big chunk of her life that's missing in the comics. I really trust the team at Telltale and all the writers that they're able to bring in to, you know, expand the world of The Walking Dead and find their own little nooks and crannies to tell stories. And so, you know, when it came time to do this Michonne story, you know, I gave them a block of time. I threw in a couple of characters that I thought, you know, should be featured. But for the most part, you know, I kind of let Telltale kind of run wild. And so while it does follow suggestions that I gave for what I wanted to happen in Michonne's time off, there's definitely a lot of surprises along the way, even for me, that I get to enjoy. All counts, it's all real, and you know, if you're reading the comic book series and you want to stop and play this game, then you'll know a little bit more when you get back into Michonne's appearance in the comic and see what's going on. So it should all work pretty seamlessly. Season 3 of the Telltale series is really exciting to me, just because the way that the timeline works, Season 3 will actually be getting pretty close to where we are at the comics concurrently. Like the books that are coming out now are roughly in the same time frame that season 3 will be in. There's a lot of really cool, really exciting things coming that I don't think people will expect. We'll be checking in on Clementine again, so we'll be seeing her, we'll be seeing where she's at and what's going on with her, which is going to be great. But also, I think, similar to the Michonne series, I think that there will probably be some more comic book elements that'll be working in some interesting ways. I don't want to reveal too much, but it'll definitely kind of go hand in hand with the comics a little bit more than season 2 did.
But we both know how this is gonna end, Michonne. You like